Hey guys, it's Pete Mulracker there. Friday afternoon now, getting into the weekend. Obviously, nobody can really go out of the weekend, but it's the countdown. We're nearly at 4 weeks, so let's try and be a bit more positive, eh? So just quickly, I want to say thank you to anybody that subscribed. I think I'm up to 69 subscribers, as I just checked a little while ago. Get a bit obsessed with it, but the target was to get to 100. Still is the target, why not? So it's at 31 to go, potentially. So please, obviously thank you if you have already. Please pass it on, share, tell people, press that subscribe button. It's free to do, very easy. And like I say, if I get to 100, whether it's next weekend or maybe going into next week, I'll put up a little tennis lesson, virtual tennis lesson or interactive tennis lesson on Zoom, and see if anybody actually wants to join in. It'll be some fun skills, some fun exercise in a tiny area like I'm in now. I do all this from my front room on my phone, so it's a very small project at the minute. So when we get back to the courts, hopefully I can make this bigger. It isn't something, like I say, that I'm just going to do during lockdown. I want to do it after lockdown as well. So I want to be able to get on the court and do some different things, and lots of exciting things coming up, hopefully. So thank you to anyone that's helped and that's subscribed and that's passed it on. So that's really nice of you. Thank you. I said that I was after potentially somebody requesting something or asking for a specific type of video. I did get a request for positioning doubles, which I think is a great one. I love teaching doubles. Anyone that plays club tennis as well, doubles tends to dominate. 4 on a court, obviously. Any group sessions you go to in the future when we're allowed tends to be taught. Doubles is the thing that tends to be taught the most. It's something that I love teaching because you can look at, positioning is extremely important. Not that it isn't in singles, but it's extremely important in doubles to know where to be when. It's a bit more of a kind of, I suppose, positional, tactical, maybe game a little bit as well, as you've got to think about your partner also. So, obviously there's 4 positions in doubles on the tennis court. You've got when serving, when returning, at the net when partner's serving, and at the net when your partner's returning. So you've got your 4 positions there. I thought I'd kind of go very quickly. The 3 that I think are the most important were, I say most important, all of them are important, but the return position for me is, I wouldn't change it to my singles position. I've done this in the past. I'll just use this as my prop, my roller here. This is my inside tram line, so say I'm at the baseline, this is my inside tram line here, so you've got the outside and then the tram line, so the inside tram line here. I always try and return with my outside foot tight to that inside tram line. I feel like you can cover pretty much everything. The only thing you might do in doubles a little bit more, you may be tempted, I'll push it further forward, you may be tempted to stand a little bit wider because the server might be standing wider. I wouldn't get too carried away with that. Yes, they can push, but if you go forwards on the return, you can cut off the angles quite comfortably anyway. And not only are we going to go over the positions, obviously, I'm going to give us some bad habits that maybe we can get out of. A couple of little things you could try in your house or in your room, little movement ones to think about where to go when. So return, again, very simple. Outside leg, if you're on the right side, so if you're returning from the deuce court, outside leg, tight to that inside tram, you can pretty much cover anything, especially if you go forwards to cut off the angles, okay? So don't feel like just because they're standing wider, you need to go off into the other court 9 to return, so don't worry about that one. When serving, so again, I'll use this inside tram line, I'm serving. A lot of people have this habit, certainly a lot of club players, stand wide, create a low angle. The problem is that makes it extremely difficult to find that serve that goes down the tee, which is the most effective serve in doubles, remember, because again, it's a tougher return to deal with, and obviously there's less options for the returner there, and it gives your volleyer a chance to cut things off. So again, when serving, for me personally, I stand about a foot, maybe 2 foot inside, about a foot, 2 feet. I'm not very good with measurements, but yeah, foot or 2 inside that inside tram line. So again, so that you can find both serves, so you can go down the tee, you can go wide, still create a bit of angle, but then obviously, like I say, the tee serve becomes a much more viable option. Obviously, a lot of people stand in that singles position, which I tell them off straight away if you come to a session with me. I don't tell you off, but I'll advise, standing like in their singles position. But the problem is then a lot of angle that side. Obviously, their partner's covering a lot of court, so they want to be wider because, again, they don't need to worry about covering the whole of the court. They're worried about their half, particularly normally in tennis. So again, if we're talking about this, foot under, yeah, I'll be about here, say. So again, maybe a foot inside gives me the options. So they're probably the two more basic, I would say. Obviously I've given you one bad habit there. The harder ones, in my opinion, are when you're at the net. So we'll start with when you're at the net, when your partner is serving. So again, I'm using this as my prop. So I'm going to use, this is my net here. Can you see it? Yes, you can, just about. I'll pull it back. There you go. Okay. So if the roll is my net here, okay, imagine I've got my box as well. So again, bad habits that happen in doubles, remember, very extremely bad habits that happen in doubles. Normally by blokes, in club tennis, normally by the blokes who dive around like Boris Becker thinking they're going to cut every single ball off and steal every ball. Happens a hell of a lot in club tennis. I've seen it a lot. Is someone standing really tight to that net, so tight, macho and really tight to that net, okay? Like I said, that's the stereotypical one. So I'm really tight to the net. The problem with that, well, there's loads of problems with that, and I would never ever teach that. Although you might go, watch the pros, and they stand really tight to the net. First of all, look at how big their partner's serving a lot of the time. So you're going to get weaker returns, and the lob isn't as much as used as much at that level, because it's very tough to lob off 120 mph serve. But Jamie Murray does it a lot, so you wouldn't stand in too tight against him. But yeah, so. In club tennis, then I'll get everything. Well, there's problems with that. The problem is, of course, if the ball comes to you, you've got a chance. But there's nowhere to go from here apart from backwards, so you can't get any closer. So you have no forward momentum when you're volleying, you're on top of the net. You probably end up leaning over the net, which is cheating, by the way. It happens loads as well. So that's one thing. Second thing, no time to react. You have to have incredible reactions. Someone belts that, you're in trouble. And again, my heart kind of flutters, kind of really struggle, get heart palpitations, as I say, if someone's this tight and someone's about to line up for a ball, honestly. So you don't want to be that close. And the most common one is, again, depending on speed of service, you're so susceptible to getting lobbed over the top of you, which gets the opponent to turn around. You don't know where the opponent's going to get it, you're going to get it. So anytime that lob goes up yours and we just walk across to the side, I would call that, like I say, club tennis, club doubles happens a lot. You get lobbed and it's always yours in your mindset. Whereas obviously what we want to be doing is, when we do get lobbed, is I'm going to make sure I don't make this mistake again. If I do get lobbed in doubles, I want to be taking the smash if possible, because then obviously it's an advantage smashing, and that's what we need to get into. That a ball going up in the air is a good thing in tennis, and you want to smash. You don't actually just go yours and walk across and then just watch what's going on afterwards. So yeah, so again, you want to be to here's the best advice you'll get, hopefully. I'm going to move this a little bit so I've got my net again. So you want to be, for me, 3/4 back. So I'll be 3/4. If this is the edge of my box, sorry, this isn't straight because my card, I've been shifting things around. But obviously, if this is the back of my box here, say, so this is the service line. I want to be a step or two inside. Okay. And here's the most important one, the hardest thing to do as well. Your outside foot, so if I'm on the right, if my partner's serving from the deuce court and I'm on the left of the court, okay, I want my left foot central in the box. So think of the centre of the box, so slice the box in half, okay, so slice, here we go, I've got my jigsaw box here, okay, so if I slice this down the middle, okay, so I slice this box in half, there's the jigsaw, right down the middle there, put my foot right on the centre of the box, okay, so that left foot. Now the problem that people have with this a lot, okay, is that they feel very susceptible, they feel very exposed on that side, that they're going to get beaten down the line all the time. But the reason we do this is because, first of all, you can cover a lot more of the court. If I stand, and again, big habit in doubles, again, I'm going over these quick bad habits. If I stand too tight to the, I'll now move this net and actually it becomes an inside tram line, so too tight to this inside tram line on this side of me. So if I stand like this, like a lot of people do, first of all think they're going to get hit by the partner serve, there's again, yes, I could say I've covered that down the line, but I can't get involved this way at all. Very, very difficult. And if I want to get involved at any stage that way, the most common thing that happens, and I used to do this all the time, I got told off when I was younger for it, is from here going, right, where am I going to go to try and intercept? I'm going to move across. And as I'm my man, I'm going across, I leave a gap in behind me anyway, so I'm actually more exposed down that side, and I telegraph it and go a bit too early. But also, I'm going to cross and not forwards. So again, like I say, that's why you want again, dissect the box. So try and cut it into half, okay? Think about the box in half. Get it right down the centre. I don't know how good we are at maths. Right through the centre, left foot on the centre, which means from here, I can then push. So my partner's at a good serve, I can push forwards, split, obviously, remember the split onto the toes. I can push from there and then I can cover both ways, so I'm not actually gambling either way necessarily. I can cover a lot of the down the line ball, so it's going to take a hell of a shot to get past me there, and if it happens, don't be too concerned. If it happens 3 or 4 times in a row, then you may have to adjust your position, but for me it won't if you do it correctly. Okay, time your movement correctly. But again, I can go forwards and I can go that way to cover my line ball, and I can potentially go that way to get something that goes through the middle that I think I can maybe do something good with, so if that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so it gets you more involved. It's just being brave enough to have that outside foot. Obviously, if I go the other way, and if my partner's serving to the left, it's the right foot, obviously. Central in your box, okay? From there, so right foot central, push forwards. Now, the exercise of practice for me, I've got my ball here, I'm going to crunch one under my fireplace in front of me. So from here, good exercise to practice is just lay anything in front of you. So I've got this, but obviously I'll have to split around it because it's a bit taller. But anything in front of you, and just practice going forwards. Bang! Forwards a lot, because a lot of double players go across or go backwards or just stand still at the net. So practice that movement, even if you just walk it, bang, that movement in. When I move in, I can go that way, crunch, I'll crunch that one, I'll take that volley, I like that one. And from here, I'm on the left, I'm pretending I'm on the right here, by the way, sorry. In, punch, bang, punch that ball, just at the fireplace there again, luckily, it's alright. But yes, and practice that movement, like I say, practice that in from there all the time. So partner serving in from there, and then I can look to, I've got forward momentum, I'm not too close to the net, I've given myself time to see the ball and push from there, okay? So that's a big thing. And remember, if I'm 3/4 of the way back, I can potentially, if I'm confident in it, and if I can turn, I can potentially cover the lob, I'm not too close to the net. And again, like I say, a smash is an advantage in doubles, don't see it as a disadvantage. Practice smashing loads more. Kids, juniors, practice smashing as much as possible. Great to be good around the net, play as much doubles as you can, great for your net skills, and as you're seeing at the minute, all these massive hits, of course, amazing to be able to hit the ball hard, but a bit of finesse, a bit of net play, it'll really, really benefit you, and playing doubles is great. So the more doubles, the better you can play, but like I say, practice your net play with your coach as much as physically possible, because it's really good, and the smash is the shot we maybe don't practice enough. Be confident, and remember, smashing is about the movement. Yeah, so the movement pattern, if you can practice that movement pattern, you'll get better at that smashing overhead, certainly, for sure. So last position, okay, is at the net while your partner's returning. Okay, so again, anyone who's been taught by me will know this, hopefully. There's some homework for you. Hopefully you're already telling me this. If you coach by me, I want you already telling me exactly where you want to be. Okay, so again, my partner's returning, so what I want to do is, again, I see this too much, is someone in really tight into the net here when the partner's returning. The problem is the gaps between the two of you are absolutely huge. You've got no time to react to the ball. It means that if the volleyer opposite you, diagonally opposite you, gets the ball, you're done. Let's be honest, okay? You're absolutely done. So again, I'm claiming, so this is my service line just here. Yeah, so I've got my service line is exactly where the roller is, say, okay? I've got my foot, I'm central, so literally I am the centre line runs here. I'm here, I'm covering the centre, so I'm actually covering. Yes, I'm still in my half ever so slightly, don't stray onto the side, but literally I couldn't be that much closer to the actual centre line. I don't want to be honest, but I'm right next to it, and I'm back on the service line. I'm not in tight, okay? Reasons for that, and this is the hardest thing in doubles in my opinion, okay? One of the things I struggle with, and I love doubles, and I'm not wasn't a bad doubles player, maybe a few years ago, certainly. But yeah, one of the things I struggle with the most, and always got wrong, every single time, standing here, so I've got my position, and okay, right, serve goes in, I turn my head, and I watch my partner return. Please refrain from that, okay? I'll explain why, okay? Very tough to do, by the way, and like I said, my most common thing was to turn, watch them return, and then turn my head back towards the action, okay? Now, and it happened all the time, so again, practicing, looking directly, basically into the eyes of the person at the net on the other side, diagonally opposite you, looking that way. The reason being, well, you're going to think it's obvious now that I've said it, the reason you want to be doing that is, if they get the ball and you're looking that way, first of all, you're in a good position, but you've seen it, and you've got more time to see it and cover it. If I turn my head and watch my partner return, by the time I turn back, if they've had a good return, or a hardish return, that player's already got the ball potentially, Yeah, so if I could get lucky and they could get cross court, I'll get away with it. But that player has already potentially got the ball. So by the time I actually turn back around, the ball is already on me, and I have no time to react to it. And that's what makes it so no matter how close or far back I am to try and give myself that bit of time, if I'm not looking forwards, that is the thing. So again, you know, when you're playing, but even just visualising as well, you've got a player there. Let's look forwards. Trust if they get the ball, cover that middle section, stay on that middle section, see if you can react to it. Don't go backwards. Try and stay on. You don't need to run at it. Obviously, you don't want to get hit by the ball, but rack it out in front. Everything we do, remember when we're at the net, keep way out in front, hands out in front. Lots of distance there, so I have to force it a lot when I play, because I used to like taking the ball slightly behind me when I volley. Everything out here, so this ball comes fast, boom, I can just react. It doesn't need to be the most pretty, it can be any sort of reaction to give yourself a chance to get back on the point. And the beauty is, if your opponent gets a cross court back to the server, gets a good strong return in from there, I go from the centre, from the kind of, like I say, centre line, almost like way across this way. I just push across ever so slightly, probably take a step or two in as well, so I go diagonally forwards from there, and then I'm looking to then get involved in the point. And again, like when your partner's serving, very similar position is what I would get into personally, and then you might be able to get that ball, but you certainly got your line covered, because again, if your partner gets a cross court, you don't want to be stood in the middle, because then you leave the gap down there. So you follow the ball, remember, always in doubles, follow the ball. Anyone who knows me, again, I have certain I can't even say terminologies, is that right? Yeah, certain terms, okay, it's terrible word in there. Certain terms that I use, one of them would be windscreen wipers, windscreen wiper movement and doubles. So if your partner is pushed that way, follow them, vice versa. If you're pushed that way, your partner follows you. If you're both at the net together, move together depending on which side of the court the ball is on. So if my ball goes across that way, so I'll just fling it across there. If it goes across there, I follow it ever so slightly, not right across. My partner does the same as well, because all the time in doubles, most common place for the ball to go in doubles is through the middle. You'll hear it all the time from coaches, okay? Coaches, work on this with your players as well, as much as you can. Cover the middle, get the middle covered. You've got a great chance. It's the biggest area of the court to cover. Don't worry too much about getting beaten down the line. If you give somebody a tram line, you know, that kind of area there, tram line, and you said, right, 10 feeds even, you can feed it 10 times, they won't get it in every time. So it's going to have to be a hell of a pass to get it past you. Don't worry about getting beat down the line now and again. The best doubles players in the world will get beaten down the line, but on the big moments, the player goes to the safer return and the volleys can cover. So don't worry too much about the line, but never get beat to the middle if you can avoid it. So always think, okay, and that's why we're back here, remember, covering that middle section. That ball isn't going between the two of us. You could tie a bit of string around us. I always threaten my players with this. Tie a bit of string around the two of us and we could work together. We could actually move together. If you turn around and you're over here, and coming out the screen here, and your partner's over there, out my window there, you're too far away. There's too much a gap. You're in trouble. And remember, although this isn't about position, the most important thing in doubles is talk. Talk loads. I don't do this on purpose when I do my session, but I promise you if I ever join in, there's ever 7, although I'm cursing the 8th player who hasn't showed up, or the 8th member who hasn't showed up, I'm cursing them. I have to normally join in. I certainly don't mind it, but I'm always the most vocal, not just because I'm a coach, but when I'm playing, I'm always the most vocal because it makes my partner feel more comfortable, and they know actually what's going on, i.e. I'll talk lots to them. Positive communication, no negative rubbish, remember, positive with it, but mine, yours, leave, switch, anything, or just positive go, anything like that, great communication, okay? Don't forget, never forget that as well, because communication is huge. But yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea on positioning. Any questions, feel free to ask. If you want any more requests, like I say, I love this type. I actually prefer probably having a request, because then obviously it's something that people want. But yeah, your position, remember, when you're at the net and your partner's serving, outside leg, so let's say I'm on the left here, left leg, outside leg, central in the box. Don't worry about getting so exposed, because if you push forward, you can still cover both sides. Okay, so central in the box, outside leg. So if I'm on the right, my right leg. If I'm on the left, my left leg. Okay, and if my partner's returning and I'm at the net, service line-ish, maybe just inside's fine if you want a bit more aggression, and it's a second serve, say, and you've got a great returner. But again, about here, just so that I can cover. Look forwards, remember, don't watch them return. Trust that they'll tell you if they're going to go down the line, hopefully. If it happens unintentionally, it's fine, because you're ready anyway. Yes, you're always expecting that one, and then you can push across if the ball, and diagonal if the ball goes cross-court as a returner. Return position, like I say, outside leg, inside tram lines, that's always a good one to use. When you're serving, don't stand too wide, don't stand too narrow, and be in between both, basically slightly more towards the tram than the actual centre line, or the tee, sorry. But yeah, so it didn't, again, you don't leave too much angle to play with, but also you can find every spot in your serves. Hopefully that was beneficial. Like I say, movement wise, practice a lot of that forwards in, hands in front as I move, then I can react very quickly, as opposed to what a lot of people do, which is as soon as the ball comes, they push like this, the racket's behind it, absolutely no chance, more chance of the ball flying up and hitting people. So hands in front as you move as well. Okay, even if you go two-handed on the back end, that doesn't matter one bit. Lots to practice there. Again, everything is on the front foot in doubles, never back away in doubles as much as you can. Always cover the middle as well. So hopefully that gives you an idea on positioning. Yeah, let's try and get Galps to 100. Have a great weekend. I won't put anything on until Monday now, I think. I'd love to hear a couple of questions over the weekend, but have a lovely weekend. I'll be back on Monday, do what I can. Let's see if we can get a few people looking at this and seeing if they can learn anything from it. Okay, so have a great weekend, guys. See you later.